Hi guys, Jason from Thrive Endurance, touching base back, game changer, plant-based diet. Anyone that's been following my journey with this, it's been 6 months ago now since it all started. I haven't done any updates since 3 months, so I'm not sure whether everyone sort of went, what's happened? Has he quit? Has he, is he still on it? He stopped talking about it. I'm just walking out of the bush. I've just been out for a mountain bike ride, and as you can see, I just snapped my chain. So obviously this plant-based diet works because I have superhuman strength now. I put out more watts than what the chain can handle, or maybe I just don't do enough maintenance to my chain and it was worn out. I wonder which one of those is true. But in all seriousness, so for the last it's been 6 months now, been 100% plant-based. It all started off just as a trial to see what would happen. I did a fair bit of testing, as most of you know. All my power numbers, everything come back pretty good. My blood's come back good. I ended up doing Geelong, which 70.3, which was about 3 months into the journey, and I come back with a pretty reasonable result. It's definitely not the best race I had, but for where I was at, I had a good bike, I had a good swim. My run was okay. It was definitely not my worst. So all in all, it was a pretty good result. Definitely wouldn't say it was any better than any other result, but it wasn't any worse. I recovered from it really well. So up until that point, everything I thought was going right on track. Was set up to head to Cairns, was going to have this, at the 6.5 months, 7 months or whatever into the diet, do this Ironman, see what happens, and then COVID-19 turned up. But that would have been a pretty good opportunity for me if I wasn't enjoying the actual plant-based diet to actually call it quits. I never intentionally thought that this was gonna continue. I always thought that once I got my bloods done, I'd go back to eating eggs and I'd go back to eating fish. Sharon, my partner, so she was basically vegetarian. She was following the 90% plant-based, but was still eating eggs and butter and some of that sort of stuff. But in the interim, in this last 3 months, because she was leading into Ultraman, she's basically gone 100% plant-based as well. It's actually quite remarkable. For the last 3 months, I probably haven't done a video or any updates or anything because I don't actually class myself as plant-based. Like now, it's just this is what I do. I actually find it pretty hard to even envisage eating meat. I know that's weird. Like, it's not like I didn't like meat. And I'm definitely not an animal advocate. I'm definitely not doing this for political reasons or anything like that. So, and eggs, I ate eggs every day, and I sort of have swapped that now for tofu scramble, and and I actually enjoy the tofu scramble and that sort of thing more than I did the eggs. So, I can actually imagine myself. Never say never, but I can imagine myself not, staying plant-based. Definitely 98% plant-based anyway. I'm going to swap sides because that arm's getting sore. It's wearing out. So obviously, you can't do this superhuman stuff and just hold on for grim life for the whole time and nothing's going to happen. But yeah, so, all in all, I think I take from this, the whole journey is, I don't think it's made me a better athlete. I don't think it's given me any superhuman strength. I definitely think if you do, a whole food diet and do it well and well balanced, it's going to be just as good. But I do think if you're smart with plant-based, and it takes a fair bit more work because it's a lot of food that you don't understand, and you learn about the food and what you need to eat and what you shouldn't eat. I think you can do it just as well. I think both. On the real food diet or the plant-based diet, I think I got, very similar results out of. But I definitely, I did talk about my shoulder, was needing surgery. Like, I couldn't even tell you which shoulder was sore now. So after 6 months, 6 months of not recovering at all, and then now after 6 months, I couldn't even tell you which shoulder was sore. The other thing that I have noticed is, in the last 6 months, have ran, every single week. I probably have done the most consistent running that I've done in 6 months, and I haven't had one niggle. I haven't missed a session because I've thought that, potentially I was a bit sore, I pulled up tight or anything like that, which is, for me, that's very rare. I'd always twinge a calf or something at least once every 3 or 4 months. But I've been doing low intensity running, so maybe it's a bit of both. But yeah, that's definitely another one. My guts, I did talk about it. That was one of the reasons why I stuck at it. I did, once Geelong, I went to New Zealand. I come back and I had a cold, the flu. I ended up after 14 days going, shit, I better go get tested, make sure I haven't got COVID. But in the end, they gave me bloody antibiotics, and I think that just undid all the good work that I'd done. And so for the next 8 weeks, I think I had to eat well just to even get back to having good gut health again. But saying that, I think I'm getting back on track. I also think for me, apples isn't great with my stomach, and that doesn't really help at this time of the year because we're in the middle of apple harvest, and and I'm an apple farm manager for a day job. So I wouldn't say that, for the last, 3 months ago I was saying how good my guts was, but to be honest, it hasn't been, it's been pretty normal, which isn't that great, sort of since Geelong. But since then there was antibiotics and a lot of apples, which now I'm starting to think that that's what doesn't agree with me. The other thing that I think that has happened that's made it relatively easy is the COVID-19 thing. Restaurants being shut, can't go to cafes, can't do anything, have to eat at home. So that has, I think that's why I actually have not actually even thought about that I'm plant-based for a long time. Like, it's just the way I eat, because I haven't been put in a situation where I'm at the restaurant going, oh, what am I going to eat? They don't have anything on the menu, nothing's got protein. I'm not one, I don't want to make a scene at a restaurant and go, oh, we can't go there because it doesn't have food for me. So I think that's made it really, really easy. I think the other thing is, Shaz is totally behind it as well. She's eating the exact same way, so that's the way we're cooking. All in all, I would sort of say, this will maybe be my last podcast, my last update on it. I mean, unless something changes and I get to do a race and and I can actually show some results or anything. But all in all, I can say I think it's definitely safe if you do it well. If you're not quite sure about how to do it well and you want some little bit of advice or something, I'm definitely not a nutritionist, I'm not a dietitian, I'm not gonna pretend to be. But I do know there's, I did do a fair bit of research on how am I going to get all this protein in. Don't just think that you automatically don't need any. I'm still eating my 80 to 110 grams of protein a day, depending on how much training I'm doing. So it's not as simple as what the Game Changer makes out. That's probably the most disappointing thing about the documentary, is it just, I think that there was a lot of good facts that they left out of the documentary, and they made a really good movie, but they didn't give anyone any real, advice on what they should eat, except just cut everything else out. Ahead of a bean burrito rather than a chicken burrito. Well, I think if you're eating burritos, I think you're eating the wrong fucking food anyway. Excuse the French. So, yeah, if anyone's interested, they can contact me, drop me a message, DM me, email me at jason@thriveendurance.com. But yeah, I didn't, I'm sitting at normal weight, probably if anything a kilo heavier, than what I would like to be, but been pretty consistent. I haven't put any weight on. I haven't really dropped any more weight after sort of getting down to my relatively normal weight around that 75, 76. You know, if I'm really racing, I'd like to get to 72, but I'm probably not doing the volume to do that. But you know, yeah, the food for me, it's been enjoyable. The training now has been enjoyable. I'm just loving what I'm doing. So yeah, if anyone wants to know any more, drop me a line. But other than that, over and out.